Let's go, guys. Let's have a closer look at today's market. A little bit of activity over the last 24 hours, which was good. It was just going sideways, doing nothing, but we've got a little bit more price action, a little bit more to look at, which is excellent. And I like what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. Certainly the bulls are still here, but we haven't broken through anything and ready for a next leg up. I won't spend too much time on the daily, but as you can see here, we've just consolidated nicely. It's nearly forming a pennant even on the daily. Much cleaner than it was. So it's not just messy choppiness now, there's actually something there that may be valid. Still a little bit ugly on the daily, but if we go to look at that RSI as well, well oversold. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. Right, so these are the lines I've had in for quite a few days. Had a nice sell off yesterday. We didn't quite get to 7,400 or this trend line, but we did meet a support line on the lower time frames, which is nice, and we bounced straight off it. So we've got some nice looking candles there, bullish momentum coming in. So the next test is going to be over the next couple of days, whether we can actually get some follow through momentum and get out the top here. And if we get out the top here, we're looking really good. We'll be jumping on it for sure. Not out of the woods yet, still plenty to do. So this is what we had, just sideways consolidation, much like this, the old Bart Simpson sort of stuff. A sell-off, and that really nice looking candle there rejecting 7,500 on the dot. So support resistance there. Some people may have taken that trade. If you did, good job, you got in early. Myself personally, I was looking for this trend line, and even then I probably wasn't going to trade it. I wanted to wait for a breakout either below or above, but I'm liking what I see here at the moment. So I think over the weekend, a bit of lower volume over the weekend, but that might be the lower volume pump we need to get out the top. And this series of candles here happened last Sunday, so hopefully we can get the same sort of thing, get up and above and go for our next leg. So I'm watching closely, hopefully we can get there. So we're getting pretty tight. Indeed, and it's starting to look like a really nice pattern. So just waiting, a bit on edge, just got to be patient, wait for the entry. So we didn't quite fill this gap on the CME futures on the lower time frame. So what I'm hoping now is it just gets left behind and we take off. Off we go, finish the parabolic move, hopefully 9-10,000. Beyond that I'll be surprised, who knows. But then when it comes to correction of a parabolic move, it corrects quite heavily. So 7,200 would definitely be my first target. 6,200 would also be another target, but parabolic move I'd be going all the way back down to low fives would be my ultimate target. I'd just be using a trailing stop. I'd be very loose up until about 6,200. Once we got down to 6,200, I'd tighten my stop up, not to give away too much profit. Any pullbacks we could look to scale in extra positions. Bitcoin dominance, let's just have a quick look. Right, so broke that wedge, bounced straight back off, and now we've just not quite double top there, but we've broken and held above these EMAs. So I'm not sure what that holds for alt season. I'm not getting too excited for altcoins. If Bitcoin breaks the top of its pennant, this will possibly skyrocket. Alts will get hurt, so just play safe out there. I'll just quickly show you the daily chart on Bitcoin dominance. Pretty good horizontal level there, and it bounced and rejected it. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance looks bullish, so just bear that in mind if you want to start loading up on altcoins. A few of them are popping at the moment, but they will come down just as hard if Bitcoin moves. That's it for Bitcoin. Ethereum's interesting. Ethereum's given us an entry. I'll show you the entry. Right, bullish pennant, but we broke to the downside. Broke, retest, horizontal support and resistance, and the 1 hour 50 EMA. Based on my trading, my entry criteria, this is an entry to go short. Do we trade it? That's the thing. Ethereum and Bitcoin, they've been moving in sync a lot lately, so I'm a little bit cautious of taking this trade. There's always positive and negative confluence factors for a trade, but the correlation between Bitcoin and Ethereum needs to not be ignored. So you've also got to consider, have I got this pennant right? Is it actually valid? There's lots of touches on the bottom line there and only a couple on the top. So that bottom line is the most important one because that's what we've broken and retested here. But what if we have just found a support level and we're ready for the next leg up? So a little bit of a pause there, break, retest, retest, retest. Let's get rid of these lines. And that just more looks to me like sideways consolidation than an actual break and retest of a pennant. So trading can be a bit like a game of chess. You got to look at what the other side's doing. You got to look at what's negative about your trade and your bias. Have you got it wrong? Have you got it right? What are other traders looking at? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So anything that's blatantly obvious, that's what you trade because so many other traders can see the same thing. So while that does give me an entry, I'm cautious. I'm going to think about whether I take a short on this or not. Just because of Bitcoin, I like the look of Bitcoin, but it still hasn't broken out. So very cautious on Ethereum USD. That's BCH, we'll get there in a minute. However, this horizontal support and resistance on Ethereum BTC, I was quite bullish on Ethereum. I thought it would outperform Bitcoin and the US dollar. However, after making some nice bottoms here, we've broken and retested. It's not a clean break and a nice pullback, but that's definitely horizontal support and resistance and the EMAs. So Ethereum BTC could at least drop down to 0.03. If it breaks that level, it could fall away. So there's lots of things to weigh up in a trade, and this daily here still hasn't broken down. So Ethereum could still be much more bullish than Bitcoin. So that's why I'm a little bit cautious about taking a short on Ethereum just for now. Just weighing up these other things. It's well and good just having an entry based on your criteria, but you certainly got to look at other factors. Let's look at Bitcoin Cash. Right, the daily. Daily's pretty ugly, pretty choppy here. That's a really nice rejection of horizontal support and resistance. Very clean rejection, rejection, break, retest, break, rejection, and rejection there. So this zone here is very choppy, very ugly. RSI overbought, clean, beautiful rejection there. Possibly the start of a trend line. So I'm actually got this one on my radar now. This 4 hour, really ugly. But as you can see, that horizontal level has been somewhat adhered to. So if we can just get out this choppiness, there's good risk reward on this trade. I'm nearly ready to actually take it based on a 1 hour pattern, which is actually quite clean considering the choppiness. So a little bit like Ethereum, like have I got my actual pattern right, you need to weigh it up. So I drew this in yesterday as a possible trade, slightly above entry now. So I want to just see bearish momentum come in. I want to see the bears come in, and I'm kind of hoping that Bitcoin pops and pops hard and all the alts bleed. This will give me an entry. This will start selling off. Bitcoin Cash can actually be a bitch sometimes. Sometimes it does move with Bitcoin, so obviously care needed there. But you're always going to have negative correlations or negative factors affecting your trade. You just got to line up and trade the path of least resistance. So in this case, we've got two MAs, some fib levels, horizontal support and resistance, and a previous high after making a new low. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of resistance factors inside of our stop zone, and that's what you want. You know, price can break resistance factors, but if you're stacking 2, 3, 4, 5 resistance items inside your stop loss, there's a good chance some of it's going to get rejected. And then on the flip side, you want very little to your profit target. So heaps of resistance on the upside, zero resistance on the downside. Trade the path of least resistance, trade with the trend, or get a confirmed trend reversal. So that's what we're looking at here. Just the choppiness is a bit alarming, but looks pretty good on the daily and looks pretty good on the 1 hour. So this one's on close watch to see what happens over the weekend. have a Litecoin daily. Litecoin's at a pretty crucial point here, and I'm nearly ready to short. We've got support here, and let's zoom right out. What else have we got? Not much back here, pretty choppy. So it's just recent support, break, retest, 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 but it hasn't bounced off. We haven't got bullish momentum. It's just floating there, and if it breaks this level, it's gonna head pretty lower because there's not much support structure underneath. So this is what I'm looking at on the 1 hour. This is the Bitmex chart. It's a 1 hour horizontal level, so it's not super clean, not super crisp on the high levels, but it's there. There's a few rejections, rejection, 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 break, kind of just consolidation being capped by that level as well, and now we've fallen away a little bit. So I think if we break this low here, this low is probably the support level on the daily. If we break below that, the first pullback, I'd be interested in taking a short and picking up at least the first target at the bottom of this wick. So I think we've still got a long trade running. Jack's based his trade on that horizontal support on the daily that I've just mentioned, but if that breaks, I'll actually be looking to flip this immediately over for a short. A little bit early to tell on this one. This one might take the weekend to play out. EOS. Tough one also. Like, to me, there's a pretty obvious target that's going down to here, back to the previous low on the daily. Can we trade it? Well, we sort of probably can. Like, I'm interested, but I'd want to have just a pretty safe stop, low leverage safe stop, just to protect us. Like, if that pulls up to, you know what, if that pulls up to the 1 hour 50, I'd be interested in taking it. Is that a horizontal level there? Probably stretching a bit for a horizontal level there. There's not really much rejecting it there. Like, it flirted with it there, but I wouldn't call it valid. It's held and consolidated, now broken through with momentum. It pulled back, possibly an entry there really, but a rejection of the 1 hour 50 EMA. That's a 6% move. If you got 10x leverage, that's 60%. And I think if we had a stop above this consolidation, that's actually a pretty safe trade. So yeah, you know what, we might have a close look at that one. Ripple daily, pretty much the same as EOS. Very, very clean support here. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Bull trap. Now looks like we're probably going to head back at least to that level. If we break that level, there and there, like, if we get in a short and this level breaks, it's a long way down. So worth looking at. But we've had quite a number of days, bearish days there, without a decent pullback. So a little bit like EOS, but I like EOS a little bit better. Yeah, so this one doesn't really give anything as clean. Same deal, there could be a minor level there on a 1 hour for Ripple. So rejection, not really, but rejection there. Support, support, break, not quite a retest. So yeah, you know, there's possibly a trade there. Let's measure it. Back down to the previous lows. So that's a 15% move, so again, probably go super soft with the stop, just in case there's little spikes. Ripple does that. I'll have a closer look. So what have we got? We're waiting on Bitcoin. I like Litecoin if it breaks the support. I like EOS. Ripple's a maybe. So we've got a bit on the cards. Right, let's have a look at this one. this measuring tool, this is a hindsight trade. I didn't really see this as a valid pattern. I did have this support level, so that there, a missed trade, yeah, possibly. So same with the previous two, same deal. Bull trap, back down to the previous low. It's a daily doji there, so we could be in for a bit more of a pullback. Not as good as the other two, but I'll keep an eye on it. If that came back to the 4-hour 50, actually, that would be pretty good. Yeah, so pull back to about here. We can get a stop above that level there. Rejection of the 4-hour 50, previous low. It's a 10% move. Have a nice safe stop above those wicks there. Yeah, alright. I'm not sure that's going to pull back that one, so ADA is a maybe. Tron's hard. I'm not interested in Tron for now, although it does look quite similar to the ones we just looked at. So the alts are all quite similar. They all look like they're going back to the previous low on the daily. But you get big wicks on Tron, and it's easily to get wicked out and stopped. A small move is a lot of percentage. So not really interested in that one. So there's a quick overview and brief, guys. So been a while since we've taken a trade, but to me there's a lot on the cards, and it really depends on Bitcoin. I do hope Bitcoin breaks up out of its pennant that I've drawn, because we can go long on Bitcoin. It's a pretty safe trade. It's got high probabilities to go to 9 to 10,000, and also the alts will bleed. So not only will there be one trade, there'll probably be about 4. So it's just a waiting game. It's just patience needed. Yeah, stick with it. Don't FOMO. Don't get too excited. Just remember we're heading into the weekend as well. We're going to have lower volume. We could get some sideways move it, but just be prepared for that big BART move. If you try and catch it, you might get wrecked. If you do catch it, it's possibly more luck than good measurement. Wait for the break, and we'll trade it from there.